Okay, here we go. This is a conversation I'm having with my sister, actually. She is asking me some stuff, trying to talk me through this morning's challenge. And some of the questions she was asking me and the way direction the conversation is going is a conversation I've been wanting to have with my sons, but have not been able to make that happen. So we're gonna have that conversation. We've got to record the conversation that we were just having, record the rest of the conversation we were just having, in hopes that one, that it helps me to just say some stuff that I need to say, and two, that somebody finds the conversation beneficial, because it's a repeated refrain that um, that these are just things that go unsaid for many reasons. So my sister's sitting off camera, um, but she's want to be posing the questions, and I was going to film myself answering the questions as as she asked them. Hopefully, I can do this without getting all ugly in my face, because I can get ugly in the face at times. But that's something that I'm moving past.
I don't know why you call it ugly in your face. Let me correct you. Look, why don't you call it ugly in your face? Because a man shows emotion in his face. That's not ugly. That's beautiful.
Well,
Okay.
I guess I should say, okay, it's not ugly in the face.
Right,
it's actually, I refer, thank you. That's the point of this conversation, and it's actually where we're just going and talking about how men, especially black men, society would use certain words and ways of phrasing things to make it seem like something is not good. So I thank you for that. What I should have said was that I hope to have this conversation without tearing up real hard, because then that makes it hard to talk. Now I'm not necessarily caught up in how it may look on film, because if more folks are men crying, it become more acceptable to see it, as opposed to not seeing it. Which is what we were just talking about when I said, well, yeah, let me turn my camera on and film this, because I was talking about the fact that society will put a lot of weight on men. And for me, when I say men, I'm speaking from my perspective, so please don't come trying to chastise me, check me, or correct me about my use of the term men. My perspective is that of a black man, a 52-year-old black man, living in the city of St. Louis, which is a upper southern city, which means we're subjected to all the racism and oppression that comes with that kind of setting. And there are a few other things about the aspects of me that I talk about in another tape. But for me, when I say man, I'm speaking from my perspective. So, me and my sister were talking about this thing where black men, there are things that are said about black men that are perceived to make the perception seem as being weak. And that's one of the reasons why so many of us are hesitant to pursue therapy as a way of maintaining our mental health and wellness. I've been in therapy on and off for the last, really all my life, but with adult intention, I've been involved in it for the last, I want to say 10 years, I think. I think at some point when I came out of my life change, a great big upheaval I had back in '09, I guess, somewhere around in there, that I've been being more attentive to my spiritual and mental, emotional needs. So let's go from there in the conversation. 'Cause you were
So
asking.
what was the question that I posed? The statement that I posed that made you say, okay, let's stop and start recording?
That's when we were talking about the aspects of society that prevent black men from, or prevent men from seeking help. You had asked me why did I stop going to see a therapist that I did, and did I think it would be more beneficial to see a man as opposed to seeing a woman therapist.
Yeah.
And I was saying that I just happened to be the first therapist that I had where I had really good interaction with her was because I prayed for a therapist. I wanted to make sure that I got somebody that God wanted me to have, the Spirit wanted me to have. So I remember actually praying for a really good therapist. And in my head, I thought I was specific and said that I wanted a man. And back then, I had some good insurance. So I was able to go through the book. I'm going through the book with that intention set and picked out a name. Called, made my appointment, and when I showed up for the appointment, I was kind of surprised that it was a woman. I'm like, hold up. I thought in my mind, I was like, I asked for a black male therapist in North City, North County. Well, I got to North City, North County. I got a person of color, but the man part wasn't there. But anyway, we went on to have successful sessions. I mean, I was a client of hers for, I think, 3 years. She helped me through the beginnings of, getting to the root of whatever problems I was having. With this most recent therapist that I had, it was actually a referral from a friend, and because I didn't have good insurance by this point, this young lady, this woman, was offering sessions for $10 a session, which is something I could afford. So I began seeing her, went to see her the first time, and because we had a good rapport, it's like, okay, I can continue seeing her. And I guess my last time seeing her was sometime last fall, because, well, I really don't know. You had asked me why did I stop going before we were talking. And in my mind, I want to say it's because I thought we just hit the wall on where she could get me to. You know, not everybody's going to pull you all the way through, and I thought we hit the wall right there. I was feeling better. I was able to conduct my business affairs. I was able to conduct things like with the children. You and I had on our role with me supporting you through what you were going through. So I was like, no, I got this. But sometime over the last few months, I started experiencing this deeper depression again. And for me, this deeper level of depression is coming across as, I say I have I have thoughts of suicide without being suicidal. And I always go back to, I think Grandma Maybell is the one that said it. We talk more about things of spirit with Grandma Maybell. This is what we're calling Grandma Burt. But I think she was the one, or somewhere I heard somebody say that suicide is the unpardonable sin. Because once you kill yourself, it's too late to ask for forgiveness. You can do anything you want to do and ask for forgiveness, and God will grant that forgiveness as long as you ask.
You have a way to do it, that's right.
But if you kill yourself, you can't ask for forgiveness, so that's a direct ticket to hell. So I'm fortunate that I have enough religious belief about myself to say, if, and I do believe there's a God, but it's going off to atheists and them other people.
Yeah.
If, there's a God that has made this decree, then, and if there is a place called hell, let me hedge my bet against that, rather than saying, well, no, that don't exist, and doing it and find out it does exist. That would not be a good thing. So that's how I ended up with the women, and I I'm always reaching out to my friends around me to ask them what do they do, and we
What
got
is that?
one-on-one.
What is that?
We have got really good one-on-one conversations, but there's only a couple of them that I can think of off the top of my head that actually, admitted to seeing a therapist. I'm talking about the people closest to me, not in the general community. Uh, and the conversation tends to go because of the reasons I said. Those ain't just reasons in my head. I mean, they're afraid of, not being
Stigma.
seen as being the strong, fearless beings that men are supposed to be, and that would impact the quality of life either with their life partner, with their job, or with their children, or whoever it is they think looks up to them and looks at them for being able to lead them, through the burning sands and the hellacious windstorms. And so that's one of the reasons why I've thought, and I've told people over the years I wanted to do this right here, what we're doing, just so they know that if you have nobody else that that has admitted to having a child with a seeing therapist, I'm one that I see a therapist. I have seen therapists, and I need to see them again. I say we need therapists. I mean, if you go to a dentist, at least once a year. If you got good insurance, you go twice a year. If you go for your annual health checkups to make sure your body is right. Some of us have a religious practice where we're in church or at the synagogue or mosque or temple or whatever once a week to make sure our spiritual health is intact. Why are we so hesitant to go and see somebody that can help us with our mental and emotional self? So I'm pushing to get myself back there because it's having an impact on my business. And I need to, I need to work so that I can eat. Because I'm not independently wealthy. If I was independently wealthy, I would sit up and do the Om Shanti Om, Nom Yorenki Yo, and recite the Lord's Prayer all day long until I was mentally and emotionally more balanced than I am.
So how do we get to the point where we can find more men that are willing to open up? Because me speaking as a female, growing up in the same environment you did, but from the female perspective, having sons and watching our nephews and seeing other young men grow up, I can only say that a lot of men, or from my perspective, have grown up around a woman with a strong black woman in the forefront, and therefore you were surrounded when your first initial contact with the therapist might have been a strong black woman. That might have been what you needed. It might have been what the spirit said. Okay, he's used to a woman. Let me start him off with a woman because that's what he's used to and that's what he's comfortable with. But you're right, the person that gets you through the door is not always the person that pulls you through the door. So at this point in time, as you get older and as our population gets older, you become the elder. And there are young people who are now having those challenges that you've had as a young person. And they need that elder there. So you have to get well, and the other people in your age demographic have to get well. So you guys have to find a way to find each other to also support each other to get well for the younger people believe in you. So how do you find that demographic? How do you find and collectively get your brothers together and say, okay, this is normal for us to get together. It doesn't have to be a spiritual tip. It ain't got to be God. Let's just say what's on our mind and our challenges and what we're feeling, and not demean each other, because I hear it from my son saying that women demean him because he has a softer side, which they classify as feminine. It's not feminine to be in contact with your emotion. It's human. Every human being, male or female, or whatever gender you claim to, should be in touch with your emotions. So to chastise someone because they're a man and they're in touch with their emotions is a challenge for him and him going forward. So therefore, we as a society need to find collectively a way to reach out to each other, to embrace each other, to grab each other and pull each other in, and not be afraid to grab each other, pull each other in. It doesn't have to be an all-day session. It could be just 25 minutes, and okay, this is where we are. This is what you need. You say what you guys say. I mean, there's AA and all kind of organizations and groups. So why can't there be a group that just says okay, and gets together and says okay, we're some black men, and we just want to get together and talk and shoot the breeze and say what's on our mind, and not feel bad about what we're thinking, what we're going through. So how do you find that? How do you set that up and say, okay, this is a group and I'm going to have it? Is it a church basement you get? Is it a rec center you get and just start putting out flyers? Is it something you put on social media? Is it something you send to church, post in churches and stuff? How do you find that group so that men know that, okay, I can drop by here on a whatever day of the week it is and say, this is what I'm going through, this is my challenges, and just get that out?
That's a really good question, and I want to flip the script for just a quick second. My sister and I are having a conversation about black men and mental health wellness. And this is being recorded for posterity, and because God told me to do it a long time ago and I've been disobedient and not doing it. But I want to flip the script on the question you just asked about how do we pull this community together for black men, and I'm going to switch this to a Facebook Live real quick. Just because I'm interested in I was told to do this, so I'm going to do it, and not for the sake of likes and clicks and all the rest of that stuff, but just so that somebody else can hear the conversation that might need to hear the conversation today. So look for a follow-up video to this somewhere on social media. It'll be out there, I guess. If not, then it won't be. If you miss it live, you just miss it. But we're going to continue this conversation.